They killed thousands, burnt down many villages, kidnapped children, and rendered millions of Nigerians homeless. Yet today, these same men are now called repentant terrorists. They are given food, training, and even starter packs to begin a new life, while their victims still rot in IDP camps till today. Is this really justice? Or is Nigeria just simply rewarding its known killers? Hello everyone, and welcome to Sabi Legal. On today's edition, we're discussing about the Boko Haram Rehabilitation Program and what it really means for Nigeria. Please, if you're new here, do hit subscribe to this channel and also follow us on all our social media platforms. So without much further ado, let's jump right into it. When we talk about the fight against terrorism in Nigeria, there's one issue that continues to spark anger and debates. That is the federal government's policy of rehabilitating Boko Haram fighters under what is called the Operation Safe Corridor program. Imagine this: someone takes up arms, joins Boko Haram, burns down villages, kills men and women, kidnaps children, and displaces thousands of persons into IDP camps. He's captured. The next thing you hear is that he's a repentant terrorist. He's taken into a special camp, given food, counseling, vocational training, and upon graduation, he's released back into the same society that he once terrorized. Meanwhile, his victims, the widows, the orphans, and displaced persons remain abandoned in makeshift camps, suffering hunger and diseases. This is not fiction. It is in fact Nigeria's reality. But the big question here is, why does the Nigerian government do this? Or to begin with, is this act even legal under Nigerian law? Let's quickly confirm this. The 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, has a total of about 320 sections, divided into 8 chapters, along with 7 schedules. But shockingly, none of these sections makes any provision for the rehabilitation of terrorists in Nigeria. In fact, under the Terrorism Prevention Act 2011, amended in 2013, the law is very clear that anyone found guilty of terrorism should face severe punishments, and this include long-term imprisonment, or in some cases, the death penalty. So on the surface, what the federal government of Nigeria is doing seems to be a sharp contradiction to what the law actually says. The justification for this rehabilitation program comes from a military-run program called Operation Safe Corridor, which was launched in the year 2016. The federal government of Nigeria claims that not all Boko Haram fighters are hardened terrorists. According to the government, some of them were forced into Boko Haram, while many of them were brainwashed. The government further insists that deradicalizing and integrating them is far more cheaper and sustainable than locking them up forever. In July 2020, the Defense Headquarters announced that 601 Boko Haram fighters had just graduated from the Operation Safe Corridor in Gombe State, and all of them were reintegrated back into the society. And again, in 2021, the Nigerian Army confirmed that over 1,000 Boko Haram and ISWAP fighters, along with their family members, had surrendered. Photos of smiling ex-fighters in white uniforms went viral and sparked outrage across the country. Many Nigerians flooded social media, expressing shock and disappointment in what many tagged as a ridiculous initiative. The governor of Borno State, where Boko Haram originated from, publicly expressed concern. He warned that many communities in Borno State were angry and not ready to accept these so-called repentant terrorists. Victims feared that they might return to their old ways. And indeed, there have been unconfirmed reports that many of these so-called ex-Boko Haram fighters who graduated from the Operation Safe Corridor program later rejoined Boko Haram. This debate reached the National Assembly, where some lawmakers openly criticized the policy, insisting that it undermined the efforts and sacrifices of Nigerian soldiers who had died fighting insurgency. They described the policy as nothing more than rewarding crime and punishing the innocent. Now, to fully understand why this is so controversial, let's quickly compare it to the Niger Delta Amnesty Program in 2009. Under President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, the federal government of Nigeria offered amnesty program to the militants in Niger Delta who had been attacking oil facilities and kidnapping expatriates. This program is mostly cited as a success story by many Nigerians, as it drastically reduced attacks on oil facilities and brought relative peace to the region. The key difference between the militants and Boko Haram is that the militants were fighting a political and economic battle. They claim to be protecting environmental degradation, lack of development, marginalization in the oil-rich Niger Delta. They targeted oil installations and foreign workers, but did not systematically massacre civilians or declare war on Nigeria itself. On the other hand, Boko Haram is an extremist terrorist group with an ideology to wipe out Western education and establish an Islamic caliphate. They have killed hundreds of thousands of people, displaced more than 2 million Nigerians, and carried out several atrocities like the Chibok girls' abduction in 2014, among countless others. So, while the Niger Delta Amnesty Program could be framed as a compromise between the states and some aggrieved citizens, the Operation Safe Corridor looks nothing more than just rewarding mass killers. That is why many Nigerians feel that it is unjust and also unconstitutional. The law says that terrorists must all face justice, but instead, they are being absorbed back into the society that they once destroyed. Nigeria today stands at a crossroads between the search for peace and the demand for justice. On one hand, the federal government insists that rehabilitating Boko Haram fighters is a pragmatic way of ending the war. While on the other hand, the victims, as well as many ordinary Nigerians, see it as an insult to justice, a betrayal of those that lost their lives, and a reward for bloodshed. The truth is, no country can build lasting peace on the foundation of injustice. If rehabilitation must happen, it must not come at the expense of the law. Every so-called repentant terrorist must first of all face a transparent trial. Those found guilty of committing atrocities must be punished in accordance with the Terrorism Prevention Act. Only then can rehabilitation be meaningful for the few remaining ones who were truly forced or misled into joining the group. Right now, everything feels shrouded in secrecy, and that only fuels suspicion. Secondly, the government must show the same, if not greater commitment to the victims. The IDPs should not remain in such conditions, while the terrorists who sent them there are given training and starter packs. Victims deserve resettlement, compensation, psychological support, and justice. Without that, the integration of ex-fighters will only deepen resentment and distrust. Thirdly, transparency is key. Nigerians need to see clear data on how many fighters have been rehabilitated, how many truly stay out of crime, and what safeguards exist to prevent them from rejoining terrorism. Finally, we must never forget that the real solution lies in addressing the root causes of terrorism: poverty, illiteracy, unemployment, corruption, and bad governance. Without tackling this, no amount of rehabilitation or military operation will permanently end insurgency in northern Nigeria. So, the way forward for Nigeria is clear: justice first before rehabilitation, victims first before offenders, transparency first before reintegration. Until we strike this balance, the policy of repentant terrorists will remain one of the most painful contradictions in Nigeria's fight against terrorism. you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment for us. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time.